messages ni na fabre ewo Facebook na yenkenkan emfama makachos ewo ha Dr. Solomon Kwatin Fuku enso na je say bia akona sign eye part baako emu nipa ena obi awo pepa se opeso kama mpani ho na omusum omanyi ena ede ya ba papa especially Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly why ena ebe the next KMA boss na wababua a drive mampani ene party eni so ade hunu no se obama Kumasi de no enti yabeto aso enkomo no nyina nim se amamodie eba yenye ne sa kwan no so minimara say already more about local governance book munsem ene botaya na ewom ne ena tuan echeche mu ma ne kwafo no enso enya twaka ewo minim sana nanom bi enso so expectant de mu hwe ni mu se hwan ne abanka che pania na ze reba pania one no ebeta ne mpotemo aba ya adwuma party for ewo mu de ni nyina no ekoba besi se aban no ebetumi aye adwuma den aso Ghana fo ani na in the year 2024 yebetumi abreak the 8-year political cycle no eno enti ena nipadodo na eni edi akiri Isaac
Ohinewa
maha
yenua
apom
nyame adom ye ho ye pa na wonso e
adom
great
adom se maybe atwam wo kokko praise anka onya DC bia bedi great intino share with me your experience a day or two before say the list ebeba nani matter say now you know try to put yourself in the current situation of omobo ho say any omomo apply no more obi abo mo no bo fi say kwan bia so ebeba and how they should manage bia the disappointment or whatever
Ohineba me da say no kre emfie enani na mejina mu bi na kwan ya fa so no na different kakra odetoto enedie ho a the different ne say 2020 elections MPP winning ye 2021 and omuma amanfo omo energy hu se on person omo 7 no yama omo ede wo mo enkrata ebae omo enkrata koye na chi no ana omo share da head up da region for ebehwehwe omo nemanum no omo atoto omo ano na omo ehunu omo a yeyi omo ne de omo akonkran entino omo they have been Potokasem part of the process from day one. Enti omuwie region vetting nso so no na ababededwa womu a esese womutimi toaso de eko efikasiem eye Jubilee House na omso omkokoye omkotoa vetting so. Enti no omuwie vetting no de na chese de obi expect say list no ade a ebeba out. Yes, last 4 years, you know, I'm saying somewhere April, and listen a buy. But of course, a daddy PFA say na MPP opposition 2016 and or winning par at 2017 Oba Pa. And 2017 Oba Pa, and they just say, idea and another dango kufuado na the can as say, I'm in a hurry. Let's say one more day and we and so you no cry no about until April and sign a list no 8 me about out. And see most of them it take you office in May. And some of them are Omwanya assembly na mo and you want to one touch na cry no. Yeah, sure say move cry, into June. But omon shed that no some said me and Sabi and na assembly ni jo mo atumu no na idea oman mu nyina no na idea na ayading. Oineba some time no any who say in terms of photocasm anxiety any expectation ni the cake can winning no menye sure say a bit different from a net. The only difference is that say who ni mu bia and you offer no when ni mu bia pressure bia ni so offer the normal but omo mu ni de oheba e head anya normal e ma omo sa said ye wo kan yeah say no bia de ne de na mpanimfo so ati ase just say but on say o converting final day na panel na omoti ono omotimi kasem baako mienu miensa bi say obafie na otase ne yi a wotimi say won ye de ma wa na say enye won ye de be ma wo so na so edurumra bi a said ye o kondo say opese o kosom man ene said ye when you brace up as a kokosum, what this year, my meaning so na menchama this year and stuck where might be possible for such a central. En Chibia, ye be who say, Nipapu from nearby na, and I said, and I said, Namidadana, Anna, or Twaso. Martin has already know a big cry has Yasha White, ye pussy or home. But the mechanic is my into tumrika yam prayer home and a dear beer a formal a day a buffo and tawa near Nibrebi a quackoshe a nipper bimo. Me feel say when Nijibi and now say ye war celebration be a person celebrate here. Young people calm. And I say this specifically to such a central, but making such a central, no. I mean, say come on mining in municipalities, ningina, metropolis, ningina, and a district, ningina. Say, Obian remaining very, very calm. We and you do or die affair. We yeah, John Muhammad Nimbi. So do or die na, okay, na. Ye chere ya adwene na wasa kan boot for boot and so asan kan home rebi na fe ekoduru rebi kra na de osan obe free asante kra de no asan to money yen so ati ase to money yen kra say de say yemu enipa bi kra say sabi impredi asan omo ye nipa. But those are the things that tells me clearly say you are John Dramani Mahama. Saying this for the neighbor, no more gamble is a clear gamble. I keep saying this. Enti, oineba, omo, and you do or die affair. Ye the mawa, ye di kind, ja uchedi amponse, dan another danko kufuado, or ne boni chidom, Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, party mpanim for. Him for almost district and our municipality and our metropolis. Any opinion leaders, the omunina si fe na afi no what just here na dear fufro bia opesa no what the ba said the beya mpuntu ebeba o mensinimu. Na omo nyan so no so be remaining very calm. Me I was very, very calm. Young farmer, I was very, very calm. Especially, Emra Dini Bay and Nami Hunu say, oh, and you know, so bakum you knew me and some way, and a party for Tassin and Banyansa Fum, Yaninti normal demand, dear, your demand, no. Name metiasie. You sit up kwa be poso, a my enemy and son. Now my enemy and son, no, MP Ifrin Sita, Sita traditional authority. Constituency chairman Ifri Kwamai traditional authority. NT DC co free be possible traditional authority no na head anya nwanwa so ho de me kire enti no ayene ba sisi ade make say wish obia well nenso so no quite clearly ebedru 1 o'clock yewura dan kwakubo twa de ne nsunsu anso nyina ba beto abonten no na yehunu ba bia yesre fomfo se obia ma oman no munye din that's it.
Okay, and no ora Ishak Che Brobe and no Paul Yando ewa Dr. Solomon Kwatin Foko and so ewa ahanum. Na quickly, Mavin take you through currently Omomuya MMDCs, especially in Ashanti region. Na yenshe se why na air crow, why na air tina. In Ashanti region, Asante Manta Mohanum, na Osha Abaka Chifon Perifom Yakwenya, any mampeni Eshase Eye Jumana, Adanse Asukwa, that is Adanse North, Fomana, Eric Kwaku Kusi, in Prempre, or no, and Owoho. Oko Adanse Sauta, Francis Kwabna and Kuma, Efija Kwabre, Martina. Kakari echamfo, that is efija kwabre ahafo ano north tepa eno Martina apia nyantachi na waba ahafo ano south Joseph Ajiman dapa we first na district yenyan creative bi enka ho no enti oba ahafo ano south, that is Mankanso Joseph Ajiman dapa Amansia Central Honorable Asamoah Boatin, Amansia West, William Bediakon Asante, ene ono uniho, Asante Achem Central, Francis Oti Boatin, that is George Bafo, and Yeboni di na Obekaya, a honomono, Assembly members now to Abano and confirmino, enti Ofriho, Emma Mampeni Bo. Nipa fufudi aya ya mame Susan akumia ono na ebaya eventually omo confirm no na otoa so ereba Asante Achem North Francis Otibuatin ono na mprempre odaso ewo hom Asante Achem South my own good brother Alexander Frimpong ono ewo hom then no ba Asokore Mampon Alhaji Alidu Sedu Aswan say no Asokore Mampon so interest o pa atwoma kwa ngoma nana ochretawia entry atwoma mponua William Daku omufra no showboy Dr. Fokoze
the ubo ba ku isi na
atwoma kwa ngoma atwoma mponua William Daku atwoma ngwa bieja Michael Amwa Awuku mekai eda yebodi bebe na mene wo bekwai kwaku chei bafo bosome fra ho yawdanso bosomtwe meame wofa Joseph Kwasi Asumin lawyer ejusu dwaben obeka that time na ebom enti yamame Beatrice sewa dechi ene yeboni din ejura secheduma se Muhammad Salisu Bamba Seche Kumawu, my mate, my friend, my brother Samuel Ade Ejekum, your high school known for the root I. Oba Kwabiri Easter, Nana Osei Esibe Bonsu, Mampom Thomas Apia Kubi, Obuasi Emprempre Elijah Adanse Bona, Offensive North David Kwasi Asari, Offensive South Solomon Kese, Seche Afram Plains, the Odencham Joseph Owusu, Dean of MMDCs, Seche Central Kojo Banahini Bediakon, Onananka, Ishak Pesanka, Mampeni from Mananko de Manano, and a Mampeni de Maono. Seche East, Mary Boatma Mafu, and a Seche South, Catherine Recklin. Na that time no mention na ye wonye na eche no obeka mampani betiti bi ebeka ho ema asantemam no enya baako edumiensa eba beka ho tie chiche mu no adanse asokwa Andrew Edubuahe ene kɔ hɔ as DC afija kwabre South no ebeye Christian Edupoku omufre no APC ahafo no South West ene eye edudwama no na je se ye chemu ma ye benya adudwama ene nya amankranso nti DC that I know a chairman dapa Joseph Ajima dapa ono kwa dudwama, that is Ahafano Southeast, and a Patrick Aduse eba Ahafano Southwest a Mankransom ekro from yebenya Morris Jones Wood ntimprempre on the DC ohonum ena Amansia Central ye chemu benya Amansia West ene nya Amansia South enti West no ni Late Olenu ena ewo ho ena South no eye bedi akon ekọ wa be busume nkunum ye beto aba no 2020 no mampani eyi ni fi o ma menua Clement Kwame Poku Jamfi CID ono eba ye be kreti asokwa akonuasa jima ena mprempren owo ho ena atwema nwabiaja north ye kreti ye from atwema nwabiaja ye benya north and south ema menua ba Rebecca ye boa bantuma sister very hard working ono so eko atwema nwabiaja north dwaben ene adwoso ye chem ebenya adwoso ene nya dwaben ti dwaben no onomnyamfo kojo ansa sem ena eko honom unim se yebetiti bi anso frike memu ebenya mensiri bintino kwada so afrika memu Emma Richard ejeni Boaten ena eko kwada so Obuasi East yebechemu Emma Faustina Emisa eko Obuasi East as the DC Oforikrom miniaba Gloria Tema Gambra ene ko Oforikrom Otafo Fred Owusu Oben ena fe Swame Dr. John Osei Bobie Bwan ene oye professor ena enono eko honoma enti najese asantemamu hanum no yese obi osu na niwa enti hanum de we interest pa enti omu a emprempren omu ya MMDCs ewo Ashanti region no ena mabobo so ache no hwebe donko ekona no omu a ombeto aso omu bekọ no enso so no onobo dan kwaku betwe de beba abetudwa na yehunu nyina maka chose dwumadie eye Amuzu Heba Clinic omu ana aso yasena enne kwaseda wiase yetima transe na yedi dwumadie we bro Dr. Solomon Kwatin Fokuo dog my hey
what's about some Joseph
na adai na ase woni agi
yen kan no chia
o si agro ne de ada agro ne de so agro de do
ebinum ti bro nyewo
sa
so ebi to akonya pan so monte so
onim enra a sentence ba for adarema amman ko dantem onu why cliff enti be 11:30 to be 1:40 a.m.
nya course
MMDC is a me wo mu contact on me phone so nya no bia online 11:40 Nasa be 11 ekosi be 1:40 a.m. ahomachin
ayo
MMDC is a me wo mu contact on me phone so nyina no na obia wo online
ayo
ebo be 3:30 dodo na omo online o send the message I don't respond and I say I'll swallow pa Mamene Dr. Eric Odro Osai, a local governance expert. Me no any komo emra. Doc, my
say you so many.
Na pom to say.
Boko, now say MMDC is no money now man now.
Dodo na. Ayo nwanwa ana omodwani nti nwanwa sa.
Enye me nwanwa abotre. Ye nyina oman no yie enti na ye wo ho. Enti abotre na ndikan ya hwa say mensini amemwo ene ye kan continue ebinum entimi nda. Sa ahokeka no ene ye pe so bibia de be ye adwuma na oman Ghana akononim. Nti enye me nwanwa kra.
MMDC is in commodity yabwa, local governors in commodity yabwa. Enyumrei anase awiei wo mu a omu benya akwanya na yababebu omudi ababe som no wohwe aban yi na nisuade hunu de wo ye through local governance what responsibility awaits wo mu a omu benya that opportunity no
wo mu a omu benya sa opportunity no asudie kase da omo so ne say aban no wɔ the second term or consolidate gains no. Now, who second term yi na aban no prepare the elections for 2024. Now, election 2024 no aban the bibi aba say breaking the age. Now breaking the age no ni nyina na fa do no agina MMDC ni local government ni medi ombeye ni mputu nyuma wo mo de beba. Iti wo mo a ndenya be o maduma o mampani ebe pa o mo say mo na mo ko gina aban na mu o mensi ni bia mu no. Asodie ke sie da o mo so no say ubebo modi abo adwuma se ne ebe ya odi mputu nyuma beba magana ni bia hu say o mampani na na adodanko akufo ado amamuo no ono so wanya ne chefa by way of development. Ubema obia ehu say o mampani aye adwuma there is the need for NPP to be retained for the next 8 years. If you know na so de kesia eda obia so ne to so bie mu no aso de kesia eda o mo so ne say local government system no ye were lawyers wom, ye were doctors wom, ye were district directors of education, ye were planners, ye were kuku dam wom a amafo akọ school edu echire wom no mo beboa ukwa e wo se wudi nidie ema wom na saafo ne de oma ma se woni omu nya adwuma se ne be ya aban no nyuma pa no Ganafo ebehu. It's when they aso de in fact there's a third one say wudi nanano ma hemfo any party ma any bie ebeye adwuma na waka wo makoma se ne ebeye a bebi bia obi be wo bia no even though mampani won cry na so obeti o mampani ho pompoye e wo the nyuma penti sa de ma mi ensen e na wo mo anya be o madoma o mampani be bo mudin enne se o mo ye MMDC you know e wo se o mo ma edi o manim.
One will argue that mampani ena yede amemuna shenensa nintutuye a woye a ode ba mansini mu no ena wo hwe so amana koso se embuntu emai ekwan enye ezuku dan abubu asopiti mai na se yede won tansa no ebo aban krache na se rabafo ndenden a yana we are wrong or we get it right.
Yeah, we get it right. As I say, a bike crash a penny or hono, was said the end say, Obershare, Nampuntu, Numa Upper. A woman said, New money for honoma, was say, a buying a fin cry, wow, yet the common fund no ban, I bet me. Now, so the bike crash in piano, your more opportunities over generate IGF. And I almost pay Juma no so person obey MMDC. Or call interview, I be Sanwa, or Becca say, apart from common fund, it's not saying we want networking, it's not saying we want DNT, make me the innovative means about the IGF, as saying, yeah, corporate social responsibility name Webby, and the account they are buying the banner. My share am acquiring a year, my share my school, my share my hospitals are calling him. South for only a pet. The name DC, you know, they are the cassette, Yan Farmer or Mukeke. And the Mao say, Uber manage assembly no as a business. Now, you always think outside the box. Now, wait to me at the put in your maba. I buy into me, say, the common fund here, baby, a bit me fund the only 40% of the development project of an assembly. Yakani, who chief executive, who there was a modern body you need here, and they will network, which me the bois. It will assemblies me, never call any major. The difference is the leadership. It's not about say common fund. Because common fund now apart from common fund, who leader no innovative ideas burn out the upper scan so ba quite be now use na Roma for the who say and put yuma eba and no difference.
Yeah, to a baby, a bufua na war party memu dodo nano was directed at MMDCs. Yate honorable Canada Japan, very vociferous within the rank and file of MPP. No quite or suggested about 98% of the current MMDCs no and ka yenyi womunyina emfiri honum ebinumu complain oh party for so munya access and call MMDC phone ho and they womu ebenya opportunity in trying to satisfy concerns and I said the party for air canal. What should be the guiding principle say woman juma pa core responsibilities also no woman fan to at the expense of satisfying the party people.
Me there be a me kase we MMDC ni you are and I'm passing so and I'll buy it. Know how to play your cards. On what thing say input juma no the paper. Edumre a was a party yuma, where party yuma no. why hwɛ ne yie na wa manage ne mmienu yie a da PR you step on toes sabi assembly office hɔ ɛnyɛ hɔ ne yɛyɛ party sɛm wokɔ a ɛno no yɛ chief executive a wokɔyɛ adwuma de mpusu nnwuma aba sɛ wopɛ sɛ wohyia party ma wobɛtumi ahyia wɔ DCE resident na MCE resident na mmom ɛntwa partyfoɔ ɛnya ɛsiane sɛ party ni hɔ a wo no MCE no wonya nni nti there is a need for a balance because your democracy a yɛyɛ party ɛna ɛyi ɔmampanin na wafɔ ɔmo government ɛna ɔmampanin nso ayi wo MMDC no na wo MMDC no nso ebi a wofi the party mu nti party deɛ wotwa gya a ɛha adwen nti wo no na ɛwɔ sɛ woyɛ very strategic sɛ national development anaasɛ local level development no ɛnsɔfa wo nso so no wobɛmaki sure sɛ wo partyfoɔ no wontwa ɔmo nya nti it is a balance a every good MMDC biara no ɛwɔ sɛ wotumi nya
wohwɛ no mu sɛ DCs ɛbɛbɔ mu din nyinaa no will seem to have a very good relationship with the MP anaa
saa na ɛwɔ sɛ ɛkɔ no ɛsiane sɛ mo mmienu na ɛwɔ sɛ moka mo ti bom na mode mpuntunwuma aba MCE no mpo ne du baabi a wo DCE no sɛ wowɔ problem bi wɔ hɔ na adeɛ no gyina ministry bi so wɔ nkran na ɔmo fa ba ebi a ɛba road bi anaa biribi get fund bi anaa biribi a sɛ wo ne wo MP no mo ntam yɛ paa MP ni tumi sɔre gyina ne nan so wɔ parliament ɛko ɛde ma wo MP DCE no nti MP ni DCE deɛ na expect sɛ ɔmbɛbɔ mmɔden a na ɔmaka ɔmo ti abom because mo mmienu na mo de mpuntunwuma bɛba MP ni gyina platform so a ɔcampaigning on the basis of development MMDC wo nso so no development nti ɔmo ntam ngo a ɛyɛ akromafoɔ na brɛ nti mɛsrɛ sɛ ɔmo bɛyi ɔmo mmɔden a ɔmo ɛne MPs ɛne nananom ɛne opinion leaders ɛne partyfoɔ ɛne the ordinary Ghanaians ɔmo ntam ngo na saa ɛna ɛbɛboa ma nka bom a yɛhia ɛne mpuntunwuma no atumi aba.
Do you anticipate penkoma akokɔ kɔ so a ne sɛ bia yɛbɛbobɔ MMDCs di na assembly members especially omuwo strong attachment with party no correct bi ana
medical aka sawa afidie foforɔ so bi sɛ assembly members no ɛmo reject bia sɛ baabi a pɛpɛ so a yɛdu no asɛ yɛyɛ akyɛ kakra nti ɔmampani ɛbobɔ nkurɔfoɔ no din a within 2 weeks no na expect assemblies bi a bɛ confirm no na afei ɔmatumi anya kwan ayɛ adwuma sɛ assembly members bi a more party affiliation yɛ ɔmadwe sɛ ɔmo bɛtwitwa ɔmo kwan mu a na indirectly no wɔn ɛsi mpuntunwuma kwan nti bi deɛ ɛfutu ade mama Ghanafoɔ sɛ assembly member bi a ɔbɛyɛ n'adwe sɛ ɔn vote in favour na ɔbɛhwɛ ɔbɛtu etia ɔmampanin nominee no na kyerɛ sɛ ɔmpɛ mpuntunwuma electoral area kò mbɛtumi a mo recall assembly member no ɛsɛ sɛ ɔyɛ ama mpuntunwuma aka akyire.
Doc bɛda sɛ wie
aseda yɛ nyamedia.
Dr. Eric Odrosai, a local governance expert. Dr. Foko?
Boss.
Ha, mami beti way. They say, don't kwa bapa me to num. You
Anyway.
Doc, me too. Sanke ya uwa. Zabi kawoye day.
Well, I'm in Chelbium.
Me joso.
Number 2, I'm in Chenam to recover. Yeah.
Oh, sir. I will bat a pay a chow.
Oten summer hat as Dina Cosia Duffy. You know, Sakao shed the rankings now, and a hierarchy now. Say for president, and as I for president now, vice, now, basa judges, for dear not tiaba. MP for so dear or na ba ministers na ka wo hwɛ appointment mu dia wo mu de pa na nka nye kese te sɛ minister me bua ka nye kese sɛ minister de enye kese te sɛ even sa CEOs for na so for mu de kura ba de ntina we mu de we no de as a tension wo ho sa
I'm surprised. As I said, the Amamuni na Kranisi Behuni ye pa, Edi Echi Behuni.
And we have to diffuse that tension. And for so this so. And your own binum nipani bia your form by DC and almost lifestyle change within the shortest possible time. And now will be any bruso copebi. because you must see no te ha yin tonte e chine bo odini na wo use V8 to teto o da ho kotreba maybe I will see you you see ono na mo bia se ne yin nsuo nkopa bi ne nsuo ya bon se sign na nka se wo beboa na na akufo do pa se wo bedandan nyama akoyie dia kanya botre e wo bodin ye bodin a what hire ya mo odina wasan boa party no there's something somewhere first pa no man na omkope DCNMC ni bi o ha na bi ko use ho no e de gather resources e de gather fame so be kope MP ena mo MPP fo amode mra ba wi ase nyina mo ko se mra bi se ba bia sitting MP ho anwa wo bia no obi antimi contest no di ayi ntimi contest bi DC nje se first year now na konwa to ho which wasn't possible it this is ni bi kura kwatena so no na nim they don't have anything to compete for etem ebinu performance low ya bisma challenge bi no competition bi no no nko an oteneka mu ko treba what is a man for body so ya ade na ko ya so ko bonsa bebre de obeti so ya ade we pa na ye ubie phone nan man for bona baso a tete kwa no giso ko lafia no pa okoye ko bonsa abedin to ko ni sa niam na binum ko ye empuntu okura beba binum de so a na ya adom na oni mo hwe kura ba waje say ye ne dia se me boa kan kure one a year by friends say one district one constituency ambulance here by baby any free back binim and once a friend kon kran atwere ndi go ho no otena mu de baby so you see yemma DC no yemma manfo ntia say enye baby a yekope wealth and as yekope fame this organization me ba na woka the practice is a sia no na akufo adom kra na MPP na aboa ma decentralization ye hu ne kakra anya sade a di congestion so di we nieye di concentration because zenkaye ne say sa decentralization pa na oheneba nkasika ebenya no kumase eto ne nema nyina keke be boss ko batimi di aye adwuma nke be hia obi a project management we good project management were you good, financial were you good, SaaS sectors nyina were a very all round person nanko aba no lead was development bit me aba but the be ya si anse samudia e be ha dwen kakra whenever so ti hwa na okwe DC the wo twan ne say common fund be ba na dia ya adwuma dia I call them common fund DC then anybody can be there. We are looking for
so honorable Dagwakuboche is at the venue now.
Mebao. Young here. So be obetimi at this best common fund on Kwada and Kiempe financial expert back pentrao. So no. We are looking for until they made the pass here in any chance. We are looking for a very innovative leader. But thinking outside the box to solve the problems of Kumasi and Ashanti region. And you will be our no lament or no lament. Jaka ha dio ani o ye nyina so saa o na mse nya kwa ye den wo ka no so ka bi da bi ye hia saa bi ye po bi o be think outside the box innovative way or the solution beba kumasi say yo kumasi di o ye hwenye ye edwom ni ka kumasi ka wono so ka na wotena ho ye den ye mpese empare ye mpese adne mani biom yempe biom atuma kwa ngoma yempe obia se obeba ye lament na so lament
bi
there be pechi me free pechi be ye kwan nyina ba bia nkoye amanse so betra ne lament na lament dia akofie ni empe power from ra ahanye preaching you understand it et no fine say na boss
so honorable Damboche and area inside
the man of the moment the man of the moment who here chap for no here chap for that I do you benya time a rural I mu ye ba ye be say among for manage post COVID where suppose election suppose one among for managing year see I'm managing year ebe ha party no ebe ha district
okay
cannot aban no ntimi na so man panin ntimi money pa mi nsendin onti money pa mi ni ba ko na be ma no
yeah
and his wisdom no oboni dia
te di na wona bag ni no Fire no, bra, quickly. Honorable Kojo Punk, remember Manakwaba, or Babechiano. On the Sabo bag now is in channel, something there inside. It could be all mention of himself from something inside strong. Fire no, this is the moment. Ntino enche mami ntio
aminia meda wase ati said the doctor ka say what ne ma menche this is na me to godfather nche
eso nche honorable Masoko Fiduma
wani abuchi na wie wo mo TV hu a wo mo hwe dia ekoso ti papa mechia wa wie na menchia MPP mpanifo nyina na obia waje adwa wo tie untumi na wo se ehwe ka ho onye ba yebeda mo ase se mo susu mo hu ni se ehia se yeba betina se na ya discuss na ye nyina no yetimi akire adwen a ebeboa ema Kumasi nkankro Ghana nkankro ye mantamu ne ye fipemu nkankro ye sorry anopa ne ye ba betina se a me no the ultimate thing is ye beboa ma development a ye nyina ehwehwe no ye setima kanti ya na ye da musumase na one thing na ehu hia a wasi ye nyina ka ho asem eni se edie ben na enam so a ema district assembly concept no wasi ye nyina yisum oti ase ne fare by anything ni pompon so anything any say say ye boa ema sa centralization was through hodo ebitimi eba from na etimi de development ana impuntuo ankasa ebre enkrofo oheba eyadia ehunhia pa because say amwa ama the perceived cake aye che wosro no yentimi ama meche bi wo ye fom ama ye wo locality no yesu yentima take decision bi ne ehun ne se yesu so ye locality mu ana ye municipal mu yesu ye needs nie and these are the people that omo represent the very needs no mo be yesu amaya yin ba emwa yen the concept nankasa de ade a ehuhia na abreni bring nyina no na there are so many challenges because the ortisro ho no ojai ni tumidie mu no menua ya na eden enunti say amwa ama sa adwenpo ne sa vishi no entima nkoso a henba yenku duru baby e wosi edu ena tise dia na meka no every district every municipal bia so ekura ni peculiar needs eti nipa na yade na eba no should be able to identify those needs na watimi ama eho na tumpon na me wo fa mu eka se da bia yade obetina se na se common farm mai na wo de to
common
na
farm
wo ye dia ene ye hia financial expert ba ko pe won tena se na ne ba na wa disperse enye sa ne ye de tie but I think say ye koye nimu no enu na nanado danko akufuado na ni so ade hunu nti oye se ye ma amanfo no kwan na ka wo mo anto aba enyi wo mo anipa ewiase meka be say obi anu atumidie enya ne dewo nanso nanado danko akufuado nko a se tumi amode amame no me de sa mamo mo amonye na muntimi nyimu nipa bia da bia meka me say ediya nanado abubo yi ono obu okra wo onim no eye nkofo na ewo district ni mu anase we mu na select nipa no na e dia koma no so I say I go remember John Mahama time what 3 wise men one for mo anya adwuma ono ane treasure am kai one alaji bi was John Mahama nkyere time a woni ne DC for ye meeting on check time on the party for ye
PMC
what is the kanase enti no we no ehia se nipa no ebeti ni dwumadie ase se wanti ase a ohene ba emoye nyina he has to identify possible opportunities what district ho now we are making sure say aye economic viable abuama impuntuo aba what you say asofo e wo ho insori e wo se ohun omo friend is imams ana mosque ɛwɔ hɔ ɛwɔ si wɔ hu wɔn o ti ase business tycoons ana enyuma ɛwɔ hɔ ɛwɔ sɛ nipa ne timi hu wɔn na wɔn contribution towards development ankasa so ɛwɔ si wɔ timi hu o ti ase na wɔn anyɛ ne saa ɔyɛ ba we cannot achieve it. They said they are not.
Mami Musa said, Mamincha, Honorable Kingsley Atabuafo, Ghana's ambassador, consular in New York.
Oh, okay.
He is with us. Protos was also be chow. On this one, so could close to whom and what question I know, chain, a dear ever, now your body is here, and I said MC Kudia, now what command it drink. Your chamunina. But is there no ye movie MMDC for Jumano away from? Say the obey our office what to say all satisfy people and because young commodity no air kwana is it about say oh you now you know you're quite with TSM and no na emma obi effective or efficient to us especially as party people and as I say
media manu ye ni say culture. Culture is a way of life of a group of people. What you say? Yete ye maimui, ana ye Ghana fui, ye wakwaya ye dance so ewe ye BBM. What you say? A year abadin tour aware. It's part of our culture. You have to understand. Yamfani say asantime moyeti. Ahinsem eye one major factor. Untimi underestimate it. Untimi fan to twice. Now be chief executive. And I say we MMDC. Now say we see who move ahemfo. Hey, now refuse president to cry because say ahemfo no report MMDC is a woman no mo and I say woman no mo entene ye entene no. And I refi. And so it's not about say we satisfy the people. You have to identify their needs. In identifying the needs, you know, a satisfaction, you know, akosro, and the massage watcher also about every district in the needs. Until wuna hono, and I also who say at this point in time, you know, a quiet way, and was here yet. At this point in time, you know, a fashion way, shiny a nipa, and I bet nipa about district or moba, one more businesses, so so emphasis. I don't know economic in Yamani Biana who promoting no. So what I say. So it's not about say I was satisfying for per se, but you have to understand the needs of the people and not never translate it to satisfaction. So what I say. It don't media nipa na yedene babesi e hono. I was so nya eniswade hunu kese.
Okay. Honorable Dan Kokuboche Abejina ho. Barbara Ekwenya Ntabuafo ANPP Women's Organizer US.
The appointment of the chief executive is a constitutional requirement prescribed under Article 240 of the 1992 Constitution. Specifically, Article 2431 of the Constitution and Section 21 of the Local Governance Act 2016, Act 936. Mr. Minister, if you permit me, I will want to quote from the Constitution, Article 243. 1. There shall be a district chief executive for every district who shall be appointed by the president with the prior approval of not less than 2/3 majority of members of the assembly present and voting at the meeting. Then you have the Local Governance Act 2016, Act 936 as amended. Section 20. There shall be a district chief executive for each district appointed by the president with the prior approval of not less than 2/3 majority of the members of the district assembly present and voting at the meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, in accordance, therefore, with aforementioned provisions. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic, has fulfilled his mandate and appointed chief executives for metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives. It is therefore my singular duty this afternoon to make this known to the Ghanaian public. In fact, Mr. President has further directed that as Minister for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, I should take the necessary steps to obtain the requisite prior approval of the nominated persons as soon as practicable. The list of the 260 nominees being released today is the only list by the President, which will be submitted or has been submitted to the Honorable Regional Ministers and the Electoral Commission for further action. Because of the era we find ourselves in, we arrived here by 1 o'clock, but we had to go to the office of the Minister for Information, who, for the first time, is seeing the list. And for all of us to be there, for his team to scan them individually. So that's Mr. President's letter to me. And I have in my hands 16 of these sheets containing the list of MMDCs in all the regions. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think you all agree with me that we cannot be expected to stand here and mention 260 names. So what you do for us, for that matter, our friends in the media, is that as we speak, this list is being uploaded, Mr. Minister, on the Facebook page of Ministry of Information. And the Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization and Development website. And you realize that on each of these pages, this green ink has been initialed by Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, Order 15 of the Model Standing Orders for District, Municipal, and Metropolitan Assemblies 2019 provides, and I read, the President, Order 15, the President may nominate one person for approval by the Assembly to be appointed as the District Chief Executive. Order 15.2, the Electoral Commission shall, within 21 days of the President notifying the Secretary to the Assembly of the nomination, conduct a ballot on the nominee. Voting shall be by secret ballot. And it goes on. I'm sure if you obtain a copy of the Model Standing Orders of District, Municipal, and Metropolitan Assemblies, Order 15 shows the procedure for approval of nominee of Mr. President. It is therefore expected that the process will be smooth and orderly, while the general public will be law-abiding and conduct their affairs in a lawful manner. I wish to take this opportunity to wish all nominees good luck in the process, and want to believe that all of us will make sure that we have a very orderly process in the confirmation of Mr. President's nominees. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, grateful for that brief. As the Honorable Minister mentioned, himself and his team arrived there just around 1 o'clock. And those 16 pages have been scanned and are in the process of being loaded on the Ministry of Information's Facebook page. But Honorable Minister is here and will take questions that you may have maybe on the process or the next steps even as we go through that process. So, Minister, I think for many people, one of the first things on the minds is that when nominations are done, what are the legal processes to be followed here from? While at that, I want to invite colleagues, if you have questions for the Honorable Minister, we have an opportunity to get some answers to questions here and now before he takes leave of us. So, Minister, maybe you'll take that first one while we prepare to take some other questions. What are the next legal steps as these nominations have been done and you have transmitted same to the regional ministers?
Fine. Thank you, Mr. Minister. Just as in the model standing orders, I just showed to you. Order 15, maybe I should continue. I've read Order 1 and 2, 3 voting shall be by secret ballot. Order 4, in event of the nominee polling 2/3 or more of the votes of the members of the Assembly present and voting, the Electoral Commission shall notify the President of the approval of the Assembly within 7 days. Order 5, where the nominee polls 50% or more of the votes cast, but fails to poll the required 2/3 of the votes of members present and voting, there shall be another ballot conducted on the nominee within 10 days of the first ballot, unless the President withdraws the nomination. Orders 15.6, where the nominee fails to win the required 2/3 of the votes of members present and voting at the second ballot, the President may renominate the nominee on reasonable grounds. Order 15.7, any nominee who at any time fails to poll 50% of the votes of the members present and voting may be renominated on reasonable grounds or may be withdrawn by the President. So, Mr. Minister, that's what the model standing orders direct us to do.
Thank you, Minister. It's a good time to take your questions. I have a hand at the back. Please take the microphone there. We'll take a first set of 4 and then get responses. Yes, madam.
General. Honorable Minister, please, I want to find out, even before the list has been presented today, there appears to be some tensions brewing in some parts of the country. Has intelligence been picked concerning this particular development, and what would government be doing about it after the list comes out, and then probably more of this will be coming up? Secondly, I also want to find out regarding the District Assemblies Common Fund. We know it has been delayed because of the fact that the list of MMDCs are now coming out. How would its disbursement be done? Would the backlogs be cleared for the assemblies? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there other takers? Okay, there are 3 hands here. Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Nyojedalafo. I report for Daily Statesman. Honorable, you presented a list having to do with the MMDCs, and one would have expected that you make information available to us. How many of them are supposed to be our mothers in the MMDC positions, and how many MMDCs has been retained?
So you're asking whether there's data on the gender distribution?
Yes.
And data on how many
MMDCs retained
are new nominees?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes. Good afternoon, General. As an experienced politician, would you ascribe to the belief that Ghana's local government should be on universal adult suffrage? In fact, we tried it, but didn't succeed. Do you have to go back or still maintain the status quo? My second question, it's being believed that development in the local sectors have delayed as a result of the delay in announcement of MMDCs. Would you ascribe to that? Thank you.
Say again, I didn't hear the second question well.
Development in the local areas have been delayed as a result of the names long in coming. Would you ascribe to that? Thank you.
Okay. Yes, is that GNA? So I'll take yours as the final for this batch.
Yeah, thank you. Honorable, my first question is, even before the nomination of the MMDCs, as my colleague rightly said, there's been a tension and anxiety regarding the nomination. And some people have raised concerns that because of political interests of the party, MPP, in appointing people who will help the party retain power in 2024. That's why they are delaying, so that these people will help mobilizing the party at the grassroots level to win the 2024 election, not because they are development-oriented people who developed the districts. This is the concern, if you can react to that. Then, two, a member of the MPP, that is the Water Regional Chairman of the MPP, said because of the tension that has come up because of the delay, he is advising that those who will be nominated should be measured in their celebration. Honorable Minister, will you give guidelines on how those who will be nominated should celebrate it so that it doesn't disintegrate the party at the grassroots?
Guidelines for celebration.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Minister, I just want to go over the questions, and then when you are done, we'll come back. Do we have concerns about potential security situations in parts of the country, and how are we planning to deal with it? There is the view that the release in the DACF allocation has delayed because these nominations have not come through. Is that true? And how will these nominations therefore affect the release of DACF allocations? There's a question about whether or not immediately you are able to announce the gender distribution and perhaps a distribution of old and new nominees. If it's available now, or if to be part of subsequent analysis, you may want to let us know. Honorable Minister, there's a question about whether or not this government holds to the view of making the position of the DCE or the Chief Executive elective still, considering that we mooted it in the first term. We're not successful with the idea of a referendum towards it. Is this something that is still on the table? There is a view that now that they have been nominated, when confirmations are done, local development may be quickened as against prior to these nominations. And that view is born from a claim that some make that until these nominations were made, in effect, those positions were vacant and there was no activity on the ground. Is that view one that you ascribe to, and is it one you will speak to? There's also the claim that the basis for the nominations may not necessarily be about development, but about something else. How would you react to that one? And then, are there guidelines for celebration or guidelines for persons who may have not been the persons nominated? If I am correct, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I'm told in some cases about 10, then cut down to about 4, and then cut down to about 1 now. Are there guidelines for all of those who were not successful and guidelines for those who were successfully nominated? Minister, we're in your hands.
Well, tension, I'm not so sure about what is being described as tension. Yes, we cannot deny the fact that we all see that there have been some agitation in some 2 or 3 places. But we are talking of 260 districts. 260 districts. The names were received on Friday. It's been forwarded to the regional ministers. The regional ministers are going to contact from tomorrow the regional directors of Electoral Commission and then get in touch with the presiding members of the various assemblies and start the process of confirming Mr. President's nominees. We want to believe that just as people were appointed to positions as ministers, deputy ministers, and other government appointees, the whole idea is service to our communities and service to the nation. I'm unable to see the point in violence, that I want to serve my people. I express the desire to serve my people. Mr. President, who has the authority to make the nomination, has nominated a particular person, and I choose to be violent because I was not given the opportunity to serve my people. So far as I'm concerned, and so far as I think all well-meaning Ghanaians know, all that we do, those of us standing here, including Mr. President himself, and all those who aspire to positions of trust, is we are aspiring to serve our motherland. And if an opportunity is not given at a particular time for you to serve, there cannot be any reason whatsoever why there should be disturbances or you should behave disorderly because you wanted to serve the people and for this particular time you are not given the chance to do. So it should not be something that we should necessarily anticipate as if it's a matter of course. I think we should all be fair that if truly you wanted to serve, then there's absolutely no basis for you to be involved in any disorderly conduct. And I think we should all be very clear about that. DACF, no, we have not said anywhere that DAC, the release of common fund, had delayed because DCs were not in place. Please, and maybe this answers Mr. Minister the other one. There has not been any vacancy. I may want to admit that for about 6 or so MDCs who I know contested and won elections and came to parliament. Admittedly, those places you could say maybe there was a vacancy. But the rest, we have MDCs working in the assemblies. They are working in the assemblies. And the assemblies are functioning. So there cannot be any excuse that monies from the DACF were not released because we didn't have substantive district chief executive. Please, that is not the case. Release of monies of DACF, though not the desirable one, we all know it delays at times. But we cannot say that in this case it had delayed because we didn't have substantive MMDCs. Gender and nominees. For now, ladies and gentlemen, what we have here are nominees. Mr. President will issue appointment letters to these nominees after they have been confirmed by the various assemblies. After that, we may then be able to have a very good analysis of those who are retained, those who are new, and even the gender. But at least the nomination that we have, to the best of our knowledge, about 38 women have been nominated. And by the list, I have not done exhaustive analysis of it because it's been kept very tight. And so once it's been known now and it's going to get to the districts for the confirmation process, maybe after they finish, we'll be able to know the number of male women who have been confirmed as MDCs. Then we can do the analysis. But at least I've been told that the nomination that we have here, 38 women, and then we have 132 new nominees. Universal adult suffrage. We are all aware that the Constitutional Review Committee made some recommendations. Then in the manifesto of the New Patriotic Party, we were very certain that we wanted election and partisan elections for the assemblies. That had been our position. And indeed, Mr. President, in keeping to his word, he started the process of going through the constitutional provisions, the rule of parliament, and then finally leading to a referendum to amend the various sections of the Constitution. You are aware, we are all witness to what happened. The consensus that Mr. President thought that he had built towards that process. Finally, our opponents did not show commitment to that. But Mr. President felt that the first major referendum that will lead to amending entrenched provisions of the Constitution, there should be consensus of that matter. So he decided to put a hold to that. In the manifesto of the New Patriotic Party 2020 manifesto, we did say that we'll do everything possible to build consensus towards that. And it was interesting to note that the Ministry of Local Government Decentralization and Rural Development, we started that. Some civil society organizations have made representations to us. We had committee to begin talking to people and see how best to build on what happened in the first term of Mr. President. And maybe, Mr. Minister for Information, I may want to add that to the other aspect of political interest. There are jurisdictions where election to the local authority level are partisan. There are countries in Africa where the elections are partisan. And please let us understand, when we say something is partisan, it doesn't mean that we don't have capable people in the political parties. So, if the case is that all the people who have been appointed are New Patriotic Party members, so be it. But we have more than capable and committed people in the service of this country in the party. And I want to believe in other parties too. So even if all the people belong to a particular party, it doesn't mean that they are not committed and they are not capable. So there's absolutely nothing wrong if the people do that and pursue. Political interest is not different from pursuing national interest. The political interest we have is pursuing programs and policies that will lead to the improvement of the quality of life of the people. So it's not mutually exclusive. And by so doing, well, again, it goes back to my first answer. The desire to serve is to be of service to the motherland. And therefore, it's natural. People go to church or go to the mosque to thank God for being given positions. But I want to believe that they do that there because to ask God for the spiritual help to pursue the new positions they have. It's not because they do that and then others also will celebrate. Well, for some reason they have an opportunity to serve. And if you are saying that maybe others who aspire to those positions did not get it may feel offended. And so you want us to offer general advice that people should be measured in the celebration. I don't think we should have a problem with that. And I will associate myself with that. If that is, you have reason to believe that that is the case, yes, that will do that. Mr. President, Mr. Minister, delay in announcement of the MMD delay. No, I don't think so. We all belong to constituencies. And this is for that matter. I'm a member of parliament. There are members of parliament here. Nobody can say that because MDCs were acting, development delayed. No, they have been working. And again, let me take this opportunity, Mr. Minister. I think we all, and we promise to hold, especially after this confirmation process, workshop meetings. Well, let us all get ourselves engrossed in the Local Governance Act 2016 so that we'll understand what happens at the local assemblies. The MDC is just one person. So the powers of the presiding member, the role of the district assembly, the executive committee of the district assembly, and the other committees that exist. There are development planning, there are social services, there are West Committee, justice and security, finance and administration. The chairperson of these subcommittees have so many roles to play. So please, it's not only the DC. There are so many committees, functions of the planning unit, of the district assemblies. There are a lot of things that people and then honorable members who belong to committees and the staff have to do in our local government area. And I think many of us will have to try to understand what the Act says. And we promise to do that. We will hold workshops and we do a lot of orientation, not only for the new MMD, but for all of us, especially our friends in the media, so that we can hold people accountable afterward. Because it looks as if the attention is only in the district chief executive. But there are many other state actors in the district assembly who have a lot to do. We should have to question people, why is it that the West Committee, they have not done ABC? The Justice and Peace Committee, why haven't they done this? The people will have to answer to these things. If you meet an assembly member, ask him or her which of the committees he says we all normally know about the parliamentary committees, but there are committees also in the district assembly. So these are things that all of us will have to bring ourselves to study and learn, so that we can hold people who serve in the assemblies accountable, not only the district chief executive. Thank you, Mr. Minister.
Thank you,
I think we have
Minister. I'll take a final batch of questions at this stage. And Minister, I'm informed that the list of the 16 regions has now been updated on the Ministry of Information's Facebook page. So for those who want to access the list on the Ministry of Information's Facebook page, it has been updated currently. I'll take a final batch of questions and then we'll wrap up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll go to the back. Yes.
Mansa Musa Esquire. Please, I want to know if there are guidelines, rules, and regulations to the for residents to know how the petition ministry on the rule of MMDCCs.
Come again?
Like, I want to know if there are guidelines or rules on how we, the residents, can petition the Ministry of Local Government on the performances of MMDCs.
How do citizens give feedback on the work of MMDCs?
Yes.
Is it to the assembly itself or to central government?
No, to the local government ministry.
Okay, so
and
Minister,
also, the second one, are there plans to empower the NCCE to enlighten the residents or populace about the act of the local government?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Minister, so the question is, what is the best place and how do you give feedback on the performance of your MMDC? What's the best channel to give feedback on the performance of your MMDC? No, there are some questions here. I want to wrap up here, then I'll come here. Yes, yes, you.
My name is Obed. I report for GH1 Television.
Please speak up. Your name is?
Obed. I report for GH1 TV.
Okay.
Mr. Minister, you gave the figure 38 as the number of females nominated. Upon simple calculation I did, that's representing about 14.6% of the total. Some civil organizations are calling for 30% at least. Don't you think this falls short of that 30%? Thank you.
Very well. Thank you. Sarah, I'll give you a last bite before I come to the right. Quickly.
Minister, please, a follow-up to my question regarding the tension that is brewing. Yesterday, the police arrested 4 persons.
Adanse South, Francis Kwabena Ankuma. Afija Kwabre North, Kwasi Kakari Echamfo. Afija Kwabre South, Christian Adu Poku. No, Onwa. Ahafwano North, Tepa, Martina, Apia, Nyantechi. Ahafwano South East, Thomas Owusu Ansa. Ahafwano South West, Joseph Bonsu Frempong, Fofro Abba. Akrofrom Ensoso Ensesaya Abaho, Richard Owusu, Amansia Central District, Michael Donko, Amansia South, Clement Opoku Jamfi, Amansia West District, Ni Late Olenu, Asante Achem North Municipal, Francis Oti Boatin, Asante Achem South, Alexander Frempong, Asokore Mampong, Kennedy Kwasi Kankam, that is Aswase.
Kennedy Kankam.
Asokwa Akonyasa Jima, Atwema Kwangoma Prince Kakari, Atwema Mponua Isaac Kofi Mafu, Atwema Nwabieja South, Michael Amua Ewuku, Atwema Nwabieja North, Rebecca Yeboa, Bakwai, Kwache Chei Bafo, Bosomefra Hon Yao Danso, Ajoso Samuel Odro Frempong, Adra Seche Dumase Municipal Kingsley Osei, Kumase Metropolitan Assembly Samuel Kwabna Sachi Pine Sampine Jabin Alex K Safo Kantanka Kwabri East Opoku Ajiman Bonsu Kwadoso Richard Ajenim Boatin Mampong Thomas Apia Kubi Obwasi East Faustina Emisa Obwasi Municipal Elijah Adanse Bona Offenso Municipal Offenso Municipal Kingsley Owusu Apia Offenso North David Kwesi Asari Oforikrom Abraham Kwame Anchi Tafo Hooray! He's one of our own. Lord Inusa Lansa our Tafo such a Afram Plains Hamidu Sulemana Satra Centra Osei Adia Satra East Satra Centra Eye Osei Adia Satra East Benjamin Kingsley Kodia Satra Kumawu Samuel Ada Adekum Satra South Catherine Recklin Swame Maxwell Ofosu Boache. That is that for Ashanti region. From Plains Hamidu Suleiman Maminko Greater Accra na yenkosha wadum so. I have a list of 29 from Greater Accra. Mariama Kale Amui aya Ablekuma Central. Kofi Ofori aya Ablekuma North. George Cyril Bray Ablekuma West. Elizabeth Kwatsu Tewia Saki aya Accra Metropolitan Assembly Ejeso Wako. Sarah Dugbaki Pobi Ada East. Samson Tete Pangba Ada West. Daniel Alexander Ni Noi Adumwa Adanta Municipal. Albert Boache Ochi Ashaiman. Alhaji Mohammed Kwe Ayawaso Central. Salma Mohammed Sani Adams Ayawaso East. Aminu Mohammed Zakaria Ayawaso North. Mohammed Bashir Kamara Ga Central. Sandra Owusu Ahenkra Ayawaso West. Elizabeth Kani Man Kaki Man Ga East. Simons Sechim Ga North. Joseph Nyani Stephen Ga South. Clement Ni Lamte Wilkinson Ga West. Samuel J. Ni J. Tewia Kole Klote. Samuel Oko Amankwa Pon Katamansu. Joseph Ni Bote Crowo. Solomon Kote Ni Kwe La Dade Kotopon. Jennifer Dede Afagbezi La Nkwantanan Medina Municipal. Mordecai Kwashi Lojokuku. Latif Amano Ningo Pram Pram. Boy Lai Okaikwe North. Fred Ofe Shai Osudoku. Yohani Ama Ashite Tema Metropolitan. Anna Adukwe Ado Tema West. Patrick Kwesi Braku Kumo Eye Weja Bawi. And also so no. Enti What's my master central? Mami, so Mami says Ashanti region no so. Quickly, I want to run over Ashanti region. Andrew Adu Guahi Adanse Asokwa. Eric Kwaku Kusi Adanse North. Francis Kwabena Ankoma Adanse South. Kwesi Kakari Echanfo Efija Kwabre North. Christian Edupoku Efija Kwabre South. Martina Apia Nyantechi Ahafwano North. Thomas Owusu Ansa Ahafwano South East. Joseph Bonsu Frimpong Ahafwano South West. Richard Owusu Ekrofrom. Michael Donko Amansia Central. Clement Opoku Janfi Amansia South. Nilate Olenu Amansia West. Robert Kwache Asante Achem Central. Francis Oti Boatin Asante Achem North. Alexander Frimpong and so Asante Achem South. Kennedy Kankam Asokware Mampong. Akonya Sejima Asokwa. Prince Kakari as Achuma Kwangoma. Isaac Kofi Mafo Achuma Mpunwa. Michael Amwa Auku Achuma Wabeja. Rebecca Yabua Achuma Wabeja North. Cheba for Bekwai Yadanso Bosomefra ho. Joseph Akwasi Asumin Bosomche. Samuel Odro Frimpong Ejoso. Kingsley Osei Ejra. Alex Safo Kantanka Jabin. Sampine Kumase Metro. Opoku Ajiman Bonsu Kwabre East. Richard Ejenim Boateng Kwadaso. Thomas Apia Kubi Mampong. Faustina Emisa Obuasi East. Elijah Dansebona Obuasi Municipal. Kingsley Owusu Apia. Offenso Municipal. David Kwasi Asare Offenso North. Abraham Kwame Entry Oforikrom. Lord Inusa Lansa Tafo. Vincent Akwasefwa Wasumwa. Hamidu Suleimana Setre Afram Plains. Osei Edia Setre Central. Osei Edia Setre Central. Benjamin Kingsley Kodia Setre East. Samuel Ade Ejekum Setre Kumawu. Catherine Racklin Setre South. Maxwell Ofosubuache Swami.
You put information across. Let me say no, clear mistake about listening. And then I'm some man 14 wound to me. The whole world 80 anything. Me draw attention to this. Say Osha Setre Central and Setre East na. I say at the year no only Setre Central. Only yes Setre East. East. That is chairman and constituency chairman. And na Setre Central no. Ona Benjamin Kingsley Kodia. Elias Pozo. Oh my mistake. Oh no. And na District Chief Executive. Okay. Yes. Me papa Kumano no. Adia chairman. Okay. Mamenko share Mamenko bono okay, Ahafu. Mamenko share Ahafu. I have 6 districts. Ya Osei Buahin, Esunafo North District. Frank Eduse Poku, Esunafo South. Anthony Mensa, Esutifi North. Robert Jumo Mensa, Esutifi South. And Esquatin, Tano North. And a Collins of Finam Techi, Tano South. Mamenko Bono Region. Edward Owusu Bono East. Edward Owusu Atebubu Amanten. Isaac Bafo Ameyao
Kentampo North, Edward Owusu, Isaac Bafo Amiao, Kentampo North, Opoku Nyame, Kentampo South, Peter Osei Fosu, Nkranza North, Dina Atakusiwa, Nkranza South, Joshua Kwaku Abonkra, Pru East, David Manu, Pru West, Kofi Jima, Sene East, John Nyaba, Sene West, Everson Ado Donko, Techiman North, and Benjamin Yao Jakun, Techiman Municipal, and also Edia and no. Ma Menkoshe, Bono, na, okay, Maminko Eastern Region, Emra, Maminko Eastern Region, Richmond, Amponsa, Ejaben, Achiasa District. Alhaji Umar Boninga Ebuakwa North Akosia Asabia Anna Ebuakwa South Isaac Ofori Corey Afram Plains North Evans Che Intiri Afram Plains South Set Brukran Denchamuo Berima Ewa Esiedu Labi Ekwapem North Frank Edu Ekwapem South Ono so edie eno Alex Inkum Asre Manso Akronso Samuel Kwame Ejekum Esojaman Kwabna Penin Nkansa Etiwa East Set Asante Etiwa West Josephine Euku Ansa Inkum Ayensu Ano Victoria Edu Brem Central Raymond Nana Damte Brem North Asare Danso Brem South Charles Oware Chineboa Fantiakwa North Ernest Ofosu Fantiakwa South Set Enchibos Yako Kwaibi Brem Isaac Ejapong Kwau East Emmanuel Ata Ofori Senior Kwau South Yao Owusu Ado Kwau West Simon Kweku Tete Lower Menya Krobo Set Odro Godu West Achem Comfort Asante New Jabin North Ike Apaujesi Ajumara New Jabin South Isaac Kwajo Bwaben Nsawam Adwajiri Paul Asamoah Eye Achemansa Daniel Kenneth Ado Okere Margaret Darko Suhum Joseph Sam Apa Menya Krobo Eugene Sachi Upper West Akim and Eric Tete Yilo Krobo Municipal. Okay. Mamenko Bono Region. Emmanuel Akone Banda Kofi Eje Brekum East. Dominic Opon Brekum West. Idrissa Watara Doma Central. Emmanuel Kofi Ejekum Doma East. Francis Kojo Opon Doma West. Solomon Owusu German North. Andrew Bediako German South. Ansu Kumi Sunyani East. Evans Kusi Bodum Sunyani West. Louisa Echampom Tyne and Alexander Obo Damwa Eye Wenchi. Enti enonso so edie eneno. Let me give you Upper East region. Na yentwa so having 15 districts. Amadou Hamza Aya Boko Central. Tahiru Ishaku Ahmed Boko West. Ayinga Abagiri Yakubu Binduri. David Akogo Amwa Bogatanga East. Rex S.A. Asanga Aya Bogatanga Municipal. Rita Atanga Aya Bongo District. Vida Anab Akatingri Aya Bilsa North. Daniel Kwame Gariba Bilsa South. Musa Osman Garu. Joseph Adongo Aya Kasina Nankana. Gerard Ata Oje Aya Nabdam. Kasina Nankana West. Agnes Amanu Nabdam. Zuberu Abdullah Pusiga. Thomas Pearson Donab Talensi and Paul Azuma Abugri Timpani. All right. Oti region. And so okay, let me go to Central region before having 22 district. Willie Vance Obri Awua Abra Asebu Kwaman Kasi Hana Asamoah Aguna East, Evans Addison Coleman Aguna West, Ransford Emmanuel Kwesi Nyako Jumako Enyan Esian, Lawrence Edutua Esiao Esikuma Adoben Brakwa, Nicholas Kofi Bako Asen Central, Charles Ohene Ando Asen North, Felicia Ntrakwa Amisa Asen South, Joseph Edu Awutu Senya East, Anita Love Obo Amisa Awutu Senya West, Ernest Ata Cape Coast, Zuberu Kasim Efutu, Ebenezer Money Ekumfi, Benjamin Kojo Otu Gomwa Central, Solomon Dakon Kwam Gomwa East, Besmark Besie Inkum Gomwa West, Solomon Apia Commander Edina Egrofu Abrim, Ike Lord Enu Mfansiman, Kennedy Sapon Chufo Heman Dentra, Robert Ajiman Nyantachi Chufo Ati Mokwa, Ebenezer Forsen, Upper Dentra East, Richmond Kodia, Upper Dentra West, Omunso Edie, Anono, Upper West Region. Nadi Imoro Sanda Dafiama Buze Isa District, Christine Bombanye Amadu Japa, George Gerard Naruli Lambusi, Dometri B. R. Martin Laura, Catherine T. Lankono Nadoli Kalio, Nero Ramon Nandom, Fuseni Yakubu Baton Sisala East, Aisha Imoro Boatin Hall Sisala West, Tahir Ishaku Mumin Wa Municipal, Era Suleiman K Wa East, Bukari Ali Wa West. That is that. Volta Region, Fanuel Kade Donko Adaklu, James Atonam Flu Afajato South, Emilia Emefa Adziame Agwatime Ziope District, Prosper Pati Kofi Akati North, Martin Kofite Nyai Akati South, Set Kwashi Vomewu Anlo, More Zompra Central Tongue, Divine Richard Komla Boson Ho, Ernest Victor Appel Ho West, Noble Daniel Yawo Awume Hohoi, Emmanuel Gemega Keta Municipal, Anthony Avogbado Ketu North, Maxwell Kofi Lugodo Ketu South, Geoffrey Kodzu Bodasu Bando Municipal, Edmond Ata Kuju North Dai, Divine Osborne Fenu Kwadzo North Tongue, Godwin Bazagba Kwame South Dai, and a set Kwasi Agbi South Tongue. Savannah Region, Veronica Alele Bole District, the Mama Krum, Idrusu Salia Central Gonja District, Muhammad Tamimu East Gonja Municipal, Muhammad Musa Tindawu North East Gonja District, Adam Iliasu North Gonja District, Lozina Barikisu Sola Tuna Kaba District, and Karim Musa Kusubari West Gonja Municipal. Okay. Ishak Che Brobe, over to you, Jolati.
Thank you. I never that's so I pass your mammy. Now I pass your mammy a dom 8 years and pim or more my moon or my Kenyan 8 years. Now mammy san come chromobium. Nsuta kwama be postle. Sure. Pozo. Such a central. Pozo. Hayes. Ya bonidi Benjamin Kingsley Kodia. Na ohineba
Mamencha honorable Kwame Oseprempe.
Yeah, Kwame Joso. Unim se Pozo ode me papa nyina ye jama efie baakom.
To the deal mama biadi.
Adan. Edi ofremi a me dey me gene so e just simple. Minim se why assembly member for a very long time. In fact, Biposo Senior High School, may privilege also to be the board chairman. No, be a ward in assembly area, and or a member of the board. So, in terms of grassroots politics, is a very strong guy in terms of grassroots politics. He also cuts across, all the groups. No, it doesn't matter whether it's Kwame or Nsita or Nase Biposo or Katia Cross very, very nicely. If it's a great opportunity for him, and all of us can assure him, say 110%, he is going to have our support. My biggest plea this afternoon, and it's assembly members, particularly honorable presiding member. Mobe gather momentum na with one of your own our assembly member for a very long time na immediately na no mobe confirm no na washe ne dwumadie ase osaya the year the no kokoshe secretary central but osaya the year
secretary east
secretary east
unmo say the year chairman the year
chairman the year so no fiscal instrument say board chairman biem ewo ho said a PTA vice chairman ewo fiscal enti mami nyusu ekwan so na memfa and wishing or memfa wishing well of course na yen call for calm ewo fijase
of course
adia ye no bottom line eye mpuntu said de be ya mpuntu ebekoho such a central any such east baby na me very keen pa na me and of course such a from plains although na a course such east such a from plains particularly such a from plains
such a from plains
na my declare no hasenka
akom
but
my brother George akom
my sending a message so people calm and feel say emre the akawe anymore no and a Dawson. But surprise abem. The biggest surprise for me in Ashanti region, Kennedy can come for Aswase.
Let's look at Aswase dynamics now.
Yes.
Now you share Kennedy can come in the background or your one person from polling station was served at all the offices within the party.
Yes.
Abaye regional youth organizer, regional organizer, a member of parliament, not any constituency that in Shayeso, a constituency for the elite. And they yen say Aswase chichichi and you might need a mediator.
Exactly.
That is in Koma. For a very long time, but but I'm giving some of the reasons
it's surprising me because near him say baby or no one can apply ye nenke ye KME hona wa apply will be him and you didn't copy hano nature say idea na pa but of course it didn't go by no so no na mahunu one thing when bibi asokore mampon say eba appointment ne say eba elections are there is nowhere sabim predia so yemfa ncheme say obia woye asantini okay eba elections are obetimi awin wa sokore mampon it is not possible. Then when it comes to appointment too na you sign at the command obia on sign ye asantia what I had gathered earlier and say then the Asantifono and say the accounts within that municipality no kase na ye de se baba to a ye nwene eba appointment no say yen so yansan consider ye dia na just say if you are within that municipality na say we within the account group no dia there is no way will be your opportunity to lead there what I say because obviously when it comes to elections you are out. When it comes to appointment you don't also get the opportunity, then it means that you're completely out. But of course as a Korean mampon wo baby a yadia the heart of Kumasi and Kasa. So to pick somebody who is such a stalwart experience, as MCE Obiana is more than even qualified to become the Metropolitan Chief Executive. But he must also quickly, on money leadership experience we're picking over the years. Want me identify all the important stakeholders, the interest groups and everybody. Na omomodian say harness the collective interest and collective potential of ubia or asokore mampo bia na asokore mampo emfra dumu enko adumu na ono so enye enhrene emano. Then one of your own, me tell you, I was here with one of your own. Tafo Lord Inusa Lansa. Yeah. And I will say, backroom office running in a community junior and told me now more budget so. I have also encountered Lord Inusa Lansa. The sir appointment we ama mehunu say no forces are essentially a gather no war tafo pankrono particularly towards 2024 no a great force.
I remember Lord Inusa Betna menim e studio ha. My argument was that ejuma yi na ye e de bo aban party.
Exactly.
If somebody want to tell me to do more, omo appreciate Lord Inusa.
Okay.
So that it will serve as a motivational factor.
Exactly.
For us to do more.
Exactly.
Because the Lord Inusa aye. Now you himself or the requisite skill or the capabilities to serve as MC.
Yeah.
Now I'm farmer now.
Exactly.
It tells me that there was also a job in recognize.
So it's just like and yes and
it was also good sir MP exactly
and yes Dr. Fukuoti Hanameka.
Yeah,
if I have any voice say teacher lecturers ye wo Kumasi and in particular Kumasi Technical University a deserve boards if not chief friends saying CEOs are boards representation. I am right. Look, the number of times Minianum Dr. Foucault, Dr. Afriye, Uswe Jabin, myself, Dr. Smart Sapo. I mean, not a single platform I saw within Ashanti region. And the one who say Minianum Omo Yena Yakabumwa ye did my so them chara. Enti me you see no e de etwa de no so. So I say ya cry ka say no say chokro bia da baby a e say Kumasi Technical University ye the heartbeat in terms of strategic communication for this party in this particular region. Me feel say e kwa bia da baby na ye say summary ya cry no komo a pencil BB na no nipa bebre so enkrai for also to get on board. Adia ba ko amede a caution Lord Inusa Lansa and he said contesting for parliamentary primaries. And as I say yama MCE. I know as I say MPP in Shisha Yemono. So also be contesting for MP. Chancellor will resign. I think two clear years before say offenders will make me a contest here. It's quite obviously this year they out. But say a nipana or also no Vincent Asifua who say wo MC also wo fie de wo ya ne say utwa ne ntini say the be ono be kofom no anya kwan na wo be fa ye no ene ya na de sa challenges no eba me feel say so when you MC ya to boas ne di wo MC young man no Vincent Esifuan so we a member of parliament or no so winning a member of parliament chemistry no very good na 2024 no and vibrant MIA because 2 young guys 2 firebrands and I can see Tafo ebe
about you know 30 minutes ago sending message say it is na misinim
finally let me comment
by the way we had to keep quiet
exactly
officially Edina Bana Afino.
Finally let me comment on Mayor of
Samuel Kwabena Sechipine.
You see will exemplify commitment of people in terms of working for party. See, I say, Obi, what to no watche, Edia Nibrea, Wadimu, Odom, Kasadem, Etumi, Edia Abua, you know, Partia, won't me, you know, Sampine in frame. Okay? And of course, say Obi Etimia ye, the heartbeat of the party. Ashanti region, regional secretary for this number of years. Na Wababeye, the metropolitan chief executive of Kumasi. One way no aseda ena party no ede adano nkuranshe ena party no so ede ahye no example a obi a wo yire no ho aye party adwuma bia no enso ohunu say I mean say last 4 years amanfo ka na de twetwe no say wakwakokoda that board so abattoir mayanka oka no no ano asere bi fe say one of the biggest jobs within the region and yede amano minim say wonim dey no two ways about that na ohunu say Kumasi wo wura.
Okay, minim say a free channel kon yebedi nkomo na extensively. Mabemra Dr. Fukuo maba Poyando and Senior. But before that, you know, Dr. Nana Ato Ata, head of local government services. MMDCC, one on the new mobile juma pa. Nana, ma hai.
Majondo.
Apomuye.
Radia domehoye.
First, your initial comment from Lysia Abbey and your expectation.
Oh, my initial comment is that Yenara Yende Ameasi, Ejerbu, Janabudu. Says here the next steps. What was in read the man, them run a channel within the next 21 days, the play bus and team. Or there, confirmation. Within the next 3 weeks. That means that Ocharampo Botumakade confirmation will clear me. But of course, my brother Honorable Sampine, who happens to be my classmate, was in Augustus. First of all, my classmate Sampine. Wow. Although in your time, I pro, what no chair 7 members. I mean, Sampine, no, I am missing what radio do. I'm only using his name because I mean, you want to me for the Yakasa. That's my sir. But my brother make in there. Although be ready there. The prayer bars out there and tell me, electoral commission for what can the one same. One in now about share a good about the Marbury. You're ready. Na young modern na young confirmation. Oh no, original there. Secretary our assembly, Biana Nesaka, them letter and them nomination here. President, why an in day? So Secretary of your Assembly, Biana Saka, or the Electoral Commission for Saka. Now, Jin da Pine Basa, you will to Naya confirmation in a major master day. Baby, in Babada, or apply. Na Nipa Krenya, never strain there. Equator, Ikrobido. No, you never cooperate back Krenya. And more you never bought their confirmation of a very smooth. Not as quickly as possible. Assemblies, you know, what shall I say? There, when you my year, say there, OBCP, Onka there, that time, now the EC was in an acting position, and now the Benaze or confirm who we are not there, where's Suj9, where's Supi? On a year, so be a young and young. there can be only one DCE MC at a time. And the world doesn't end today for the fact that Enyan in there. Or no, and say in a mestre. Say this initial comment, you know. Yeah, the president has it.
There's this question and answer message that keeps coming in. Mame from an the issue of Asokware Mampo. Kennedy can come. A minimum raise concern say on Twaba Honum. And once I apply for Asokware Mampolemum came and apply Emranis in the coin, say Mampenibet my body ding say on Twaba Honum so one name about catch a penny.
Article 243 of the 1992 Constitution, Section 20 of the Local Governance Act of 2016, Act 936, as a Munkota. There shall be a DC appointed by the President with prior approval from 2/3 of the majority of members present and voting in a meeting. Now, it's trying there. Embrama present. One, you be there, Uncle Jina was a Koreman. You be don't go to Kumasi Metro. I couldn't be a new watcher there, Jido be apply. I couldn't be out here, you be a converting. Say, President, okay, where you be free, a friend, then Kumasi be war, Atlanta, Minimino. Mama, wa apply a month will be a bee. But I mean, President Danko Akufo-Addo. Mr. Demi pen na me pen on who can there. A impano, President by appointing, and Rakwan Bia and see no quan was there, one there to be, and I've been brains in the Demoquano. However, there can be there. If you are now, don't feel what's now on now.
So on Twaba.
But also, they
almost on Twaba.
On Twaba was a Koreman. But as far as I'm concerned, Abeka there, Kumasi is unique in the sense that Asantini be Asantini, Etimasa.
Yeah.
Unlike Pansefo, you're different. I mean, Mifike, Menjains the Botuma Bomizin, the Munkochina Ukwai. But I believe that if we want to talk about Asante, I'm aware, Obi, Ufimampon, Obija Kumasi because they are Asante. And I believe that Kumasi may be a unique one. I cannot, I'm not too sure about what I'm not too sure, but I'm just talking about experience. I mean, from experience.
Right. Nana me da say area.
Me da say pe na how ya won't me for I should do. Me pay information one conference
room ho. Yes, that's a pa. Nana Tota, the head of local government service. Dr. Voko, quickly, as one say, KME, a free channel, you be doing cover more. As one say, KME.
I'm congratulations.
Mama Mubusa, baby, and Yansu be quiet. Okay, Western North and Western Region, the Mama Ansania, sorry. Dog meet you.
I'm congratulating me constituency, Mr. Prince Kakali.
Yeah.
Na ye bompa man pa. Even say young business when you buy near train. And I'm confirm to better president as. Na ya da almost on the coy as senior bompa man. Na assembly man from Sesram with the Emerald Co. The moment to tune train be a money one touch. Na president nominees no team and confirm no may. As far as the DNA coordinator from the answer presidents we see, me kaiso man penning Rollins time or the ministers create for different regions. Biba had the biba everything chinko baby brand and it worked perfectly. You know, just a born and bred in Kwana.
Nazare Kopuku be the regional minister, no MP or different region.
And Papa ba could be crying now, headmaster be on crown. And I see, so many about it been very Kasaya no Montina researchers in there. We use relevant literature. We review the SCP. Oh, near the you told me the bus.
I was surprised platform them also now people I thought they should know it right. No, we're still arguing on that.
Penimupa be a minimum other party more or as a secretary or the two horses and him. Highly educated person. Either so in either so in Emrebian with TSA win. When it was Kennedy, unifier.
Yeah.
How didn't cover be a bay, or utility player. It's in a hope for no soon muna ultimi Emebo Jumama Ghana by. I think say what we are looking for, they say, Nana for the second term, we know. A bit cost a change the first term, no. Nama breaking the 89 MPP for Penosono. I did. Etimia cost. That's all I can say. We support. Once they didn't know, Mimpia Bontendi, I think say, I'm managing your money kakra. By Dimbia, me petty, the memo board in there. Na bem, you know me and Sammy. Nanso, the president knows the best.
Right.
And our diaba. Ubia and some. Yet in money pamino, dini pami and said, so. Na, a see I for no son kotwaba. Assemblyman for all more down so I feed be a bit me a bosso kakra. By best resemble to Mobasi. Monzo Sunji no muntimimra no monso, emmeye ejumapa. Why nobody ever can? All
right, Dr. Amuzu.
You need ye
komunano ye bedi nkomo pa Amuzu haba clinic komadarma ena wia ye tumi tena se a ye de dwumadie ebre ansa na beso no ebebo nkomo Paul Yando ewa hana mamentu fa na mene the Consular General New York Yera Kingsley Atabuafo eni nkomo emra ansa na ya toso Your Excellency Urata Buafo. Maha.
Yeah, Mama Juma.
Na apom.
Oh, Adomo Empire bo ene said ya Mujibo ichi domo ayaba bedru adwuma no de eye kese wa anya bi ni kongo de na me ye no kra ye kese nanso ja men cha de yeguso kwa ne me ko yi
atana wo bom pa so bakọ wanim ene ya mo akọ wanim
enji na me ga se wi ase wo kwa da bia na se wuja challenges na utumi ehwe na wo makamo na hu se wo ko eno ntia de ye pa
right na o share on TV names ya bobo bia first ya ubeka atre omu a omanya opportunity say womba besom e wa ban mu
jo ohireba mame fa konya iso na menchia eye kumaseman ye ne ankasa ye wura otumfo na menchia wuntumi TV any chief executive ene wo ohireba ene edinkanum cruise no de abechia wo mu nyina na machia eye Nantemai machia Ghana mai nyina na nyame ene eda nase esese ye di tu etrim se nyame ene betumi nyame ene hihye niemba na me de se finally ye de MMDCs no positions no nyina ababetudwa because yanso so e wa ha no na yanso ye guso monitor enti anopa yi say me ankasa me papa ko dani entry
yeah
no ne abusuafo nyina ye twahia e wa ha ye nyina ye hwe se de be ya niemma ebetumi akoyie na wonim ebeto odwa no beye nansa ne yeti se skamishes nkakra bi ewo nkonkro bi so na no se ye ma ye nuanom a wo mo wo party no no tiase se yenya ayi edipa no a president ayi yemfa akomapa enyi akomapa e DJ de se ye wo ekon da ye nim a se ye break ye 80 no eye 2024 na mi gidie wa rehim se enhihye ya president eye bi ade wo yo se de be ya obetumi agya bibi pa amamanfo ehunu se ebedi a wo bedi ye no ehia se sai etwa obi obeba bi di nanan mu no na eno no breaking 8 ni ye nipa bi esi enya wo mu no mu beboa se asantememu in particular obi anu a ye beyi no ye bompa ye se ye nuanom assembly members no ye president aka de ye moa na ye ntimi hwe ba bi wo eden a wontwi beba de but enipa ho asem no star na se na ye infantry adwunu se setie bia no nyame ena metumi amanfo nya botre na de aba betudwa no ye hwe hu se de nyame pese ye de ma no ye de ama no nyame so se de bia meka no se tie bia ne se oso abo futu kwa ya eye den ya obetra so fufi but se sabozam to kwa ya eye den ya wo no so kwa kwa ba ifufi so atiase edi nipa na ye yi wo mo no de mesre se obia ne bonus obia no wo mu yenhwe yenfa komapa enye ndemwa se de be ye betumi break ye etire mpuntuo ebetumi aba especially asantibem asantima ye hianyema bebre no obi te say ye ni ankasa ye nu asampa ye wo yidi o je say wa family mu aba bedru onim problem no me sampa ni problem no a che say mi nim potise kumasi abotin ye gina so ye tane che odon ko ntimi ni se adwuma sampa ngo ntimi ni adwuma e che say ye nu anu assembly members ye nuanom omo wo dwom ye nuanom driver fo ye nuanom omo ye dwuma wo kemi nananom omo nyina ata ye nu yechi se de be ye betwi di mputuo di aba na se kuma se ye ana eko etra asanteman nyina mu bo se na eko ha eji ebesra manfo se de enya betodwe no ye nya botre ye mompa ye na ye hwe na assembly members no so kwoto aba no so a ye hwe ne ye ndo so ye nuanom no na bibia so ntimi enkoyi
right. Menim zaman pania ba America. Nema to say.
Oh, nyamia daruma boko ena nyumre enra na obebedu no owo Houston, Washington DC area. But in this case obeba New York enyumre ye ne wa ye ne boaboy hona yakọ airport na yakọ chia no. O say General Assembly no G8 no hona oba na oba inso no eden ya woni dipadom bebre bibehihia ena nam se de wasi aye Ghana akwakoduro no nchi no dipadom bebre kura no percent wo mo ne president hia di ko mo investors bebre ayo o mo adwene se wo mo pese wo mo so ba do mbekwa na ye de nyame asenso so se edipa no guso wo mo ni ka Ghana ena e gaze bebre bi atia no wo mpe na Ghana yeguso hwe se ye betutu ye ne nyina yi na ebe kakra no yenwie ye second term a president e was you know amanfo be hu say yes na na dodan kwakufu ado buy no aba be ye dwuma enti be so be di na kibia no be hu say ye twasapa say de be ye bitu ye break 8 no na ene metumi atoto ye e de ama ye Ghana gab
me da say wie
yo be so da wasipi be chia minu ma doctors a omo hodi nyina be chia mpanifo di nyina mi so bi tie wo omo futuo ni ade ni nyina na tie wo enti yeso ye omo ase na e be fa beba e de nyina
era tabo afunesi aban na mu e New York, United States of America. Poyando aha mami ntiu na finally they say there obeda
enya sem kisa
mekade
se papa
na atapoku die tu nkotre die da
de di kai
o the application age fans ka no cry okay man
next time we may juma almost yes start to police station
kakra bi na me Dr. Amuzu Medin command and sorry so
right hin ba meda wase na I think say medical after tear free asqua ono abuo koniasa ye bebo na baso pa in fact wa born home modern enya asem kitwa da ne da nyina oni ni din kita ho a e chese na ne anticipation no a great our say ye bebo ni din ye nyina so hwe the platforms so a obia ni age
and ntwe na da bi omni nam no kwan no so no onchichi o
me see ye best of it ni nyina ye nyina ye kwa akoboa no na wo hwe sampai so aminua any gie
Samuel Kwabna sechi pine
dia me kama na sie nyina ne se yeti a ye ni agi me dinim
duty free caucus chairman no
Sampai yes celebrating the victory of others Sampai why ade what kire se wo so party a emre papa bi e wo wanim e na me no dia mama ni gi ne ho ne se o wa abotre ye ba ye ya ye de ne koto abatwei amanfo feudie ni ade na say eso papa nya botre ese hodi enne hwe ba bi ade na kwakwa kotu eti e kasa che nyina say ba bi bia obia wo bia no onya botre as time goes on ye adwumaden a party no etna abamu ache no ba bi obia hye bia no ne sabetimi aka ne de o ti ase onye ba na asokore manpon so Yura Kennedy can come obia ni modern bar obo ni hyehyeye party ni mo ti ase onye ba me dia me come na sie nyina ne say breaking the 8 no afei ne yehu say party fo a omo ye adwuma ai omo deserving positions a yede me ma wo no e kire wo say 8 na ye be break no e reality na e possible so me de party fo e satisfied with niema e kozo onye ba e de anigye ene ahotoso ene ba me de amesre assembly members wo mo ba betu wo mo so abai enye afei na ye ba be ye ye mo me danso na me yire nyim na me koware asembia ni minia ade na already no mo yesu se ache nti aba bedudu a ye nye no wano na enigye intimi emra ba bia na ba ko a me di hu ya kakra yeso a me die ye nua buadi suroja
brother
but brother brother baby a wo bia no kanwakoma to yem me de maka kire wo se emre papa e wo bibia nim etino nyabotre unua wabai mfense Kingsley ana Maxwell yes ye nyina ye mboni chidom na ye nta na chi na ye nye adwumaden eno na bema yetima break 8 no etimi nua boadi metina ha na ma hwewden na ma hwewu nkran se ye nyina no ye ma emre papa endi yanim na ye ntwa so aba dache onye ba me de ma no besi a
me da se me da me ho aba me ba na me ne Dr. Amuzu Herbal Clinic ebi womo ena so asene ema etimi dwumedie edi muntoa babia wo bia a range of products nru ahodo ena womo edi ho dwuma na Dr. Amuzu eba betena se nchekra na yedi nkomo wi a 3 p.m. health talk no will be back on your screen meba